everybody, I'm Alison and I'm coming to you from Pilates Leeds, and this is my July clip, and I hope you don't mind that. I'm going to read from a script because otherwise I'm not going to remember all this, so here goes. Long page. Today I'm all about exercises that will work the abdominal muscles. Featured here are the ones that I think are the best for all body types. We will look at abdominal curl type exercises and planks, but most importantly I think I'm going to give you some alternatives. Some of these exercises will not look like conventional ab works. We're going to work using the arms and legs as load, and in these kind of exercises the trunk has load applied to it and the abs have to work harder to stabilise the trunk, and that's where you get the word work from. And do bear in mind that the muscles at the side and the back are all also joining in. The abs are working as part of a team. I have explained more detail about why I've selected these exercises. I put it in my latest blog post, and I'll put a link to that in the spiel on the YouTube spiel. One last thing, well, two actually. Foundational for good functional abdominal muscles is to get your breathing right. I just need to mention that, and also I need to put a clip out about that, so note to self on that one. And for you, just about a note about the clip. I'm going to go through each exercise and give teaching points. So if you want to do the exercise, stop and pause it and do 10 reps or so. To keep the clip shorter, I'm not going to go through all the repetitions. Now 10 reps is fairly arbitrary. The number of reps that you need is the number of reps that you can do and maintain the quality of your movement and the form and the alignment. If you can feel yourself sort of declining or shaking too much or getting really tired, you stop when you're ready. So often with ab exercises, people do too much, the form goes, and it's often game over for the abs and the stronger back muscles take over, so do bear that in mind. Okay, that's it, no more script, and I'll just get cracking. So the first exercise of all things is a front raise. So you can use weights that I've got here, but you can also use an exercise band. I'm going to turn to the side, and here we go. So you've got a lot of load acting on the trunk as you do your alternate arms or double arms. I mean, certainly, and you'll feel it, particularly if you do two arms at once, you feel the effect of all that weight acting here. Now the temptation is to sort of buckle a little bit and send the pelvis forward and the ribs back, but here's the kind of value. This is going to work. You're not going to change the shape of your spine, but these muscles and the ones at the back are going to kick in and work as you do your weight. So you've got basically two things. You've got work in the shoulder and you've got brilliant work in your stomach muscles, and you don't even have to lie down. There's another couple of little add-ons. One would be going from a front into a side arm raise, so you sort of start to get out into the outer fibres of the stomach, and a companion piece would be an overhead press. Now be careful with this, you need the shoulder flexibility to be able to go up, again without the temptation to lean back. So it may be, as I say, if you do this, you're going to be working the back muscles far too much, or thrust the pelvis. So it may be that you don't go high, or maybe this one isn't right for you, but I did want to show it you. So you've got that load acting up and down. So there's two more standing exercises. Now, one of the big functions of the stomach muscles is to help us bend the spine, bend it forward, assist in bending back, side bend and rotation. So you can use spine articulation exercises and then add load to them. So a classic one, very classic Pilates exercise, is a roll down. So I need to just declare something here. I've got quite a lot of injury and damage to my stomach muscles. I've got an abdominal separation, and as a consequence my back's a little bit stiff, so I don't look particularly good when I do this. It's not great form. I do know that. This is the best I can do, which is all any of us can do, isn't it? So here's my roll down. Head, neck, upper back, mid back, lower back. Allow the knees to bend, that's fine. And then come back. So that's a Pilates roll down. Familiar territory, but if you think about it, the stomach with the little bit of weight of the body weight is helping to contract to pull you down, and then it's going the other way to help you pull back up. Obviously there's a lot of work in the legs as well. So it's a lot. Take heart from the fact that that is working your stomach, but how about you increase your lever length to increase the demand through the stomach? I call this diving roll down. You have to channel your inner Tom daily. So straight arms, and then it's basically the same thing. Head nods, and you're diving round a gigantic marshmallow, down, down, down. Allow the knees to bend, and you're more aware of it when you come back up. Do stand into your feet, but you've got a longer lever over which the muscles have to act. Do one more. On all of these, we tend to forget to breathe, right? So, let me remind you that you need to stay breathing. Okay, so the spine muscles, particularly the waistline muscles, also assist in spine rotation. So, simply rotating will work these muscles. How good is that? But how about you kind of give a bit of va-va-voom to that? So I'm going to use a Dynamite. This is sort of a banded rotation. And you see this in the cable columns in the gym, it works really well because you can fix a load. It's harder here. I'm using the foot bar of my reformer. And I'm just going to knot the end. And what you're going to be thinking, well, what am I going to use, Alison? Well, maybe you'd knot round the top of a table leg, or some kind of door handle. Particularly, you have to make sure that the door, it's the way the door opens, if you see what I mean. Okay, so it's going to be a bit rattly this now. Okay, so I apologise for that. So rotating again, and yes, there will be some action in my shoulders there, but there is still work in my waistline. I can make the band shorter. Sorry about the rattliness. Okay, and you want to be firm in the legs and feel that that weight goes through the rib cage. You would have to swap and do both sides. If you did less ribs and more arm, it sort of turns it into more of a shoulder exercise. But there's sort of an infinite number of variations. You could be mainly arm, or you could be mainly waistline. In this one, I'm allowing my pelvis and my feet to move, but actually you could fix the pelvis a little bit. Allow the head to turn with you. So those are great, great exercises to work the side waistline muscles. And I'm now going to come down into a kneeling position and show you a plank. Now then, kneeling planks are great, but do be careful that you've got something to support your knees. So I've got a folded up yoga mat. Cushions will work as well. So I'm going to post on the end of this clip a separate clip on how to do all fours planks. I'm not a fan of the elbow ones, so it's all about all fours and all four plank alternatives. But for now, here's kneeling. So again, this is a bit like the front raise. You're exploiting the fact that the spine stays steady and stable, and you're not curling it. We'll get to curls later. So here's my neutral spine. I've got me open hips and me kind of normal placed spine. Neutral's a bit jargony. My spine is in its resting position, if you like. Do watch that those hips are open. So I tend to put my hands and press forward. Some people like prefer the cue. Just see if you can slightly, don't go crazy, slightly squeeze your bottom. And then you're going to hinge through your knees. And boy, are you going to feel this. Mainly on your thighs. So the thighs are working and the stomach. Don't sort of accelerate back. Slow and steady. The eyes go up slightly. Here's what not to do. It's so tempting, and it's kind of an exercise in its own right, but it's not what we're doing here. We're kneeling plank, neutral spine under load, normally placed spine under load. You can tuck your toes under, it gives you a little bit more support. It's not great on the toes, but it can be more supportive and it helps you to come back. You are going to feel this in your thighs, you are working your thighs. So that's plank. And now, so onto all fours. As I say, classically you do plank in all fours. I'll post that at the end. We're going to do another classic exercise that's not necessarily viewed as an abdominal exercise. Cat stretch. Okay, so cat stretch, again, the spine doesn't articulate on its own. The spine articulates because the muscles are helping it. And the underneath ones that are contributing to this, of course, are your abdominal muscles. So this in itself is a worker of the spine. So if this is cat, you can suit this up, you can give it some va-va-voom. I call this big cat. And you want to be able to slide your hands along a smooth surface. So I'm getting rid of this because that's a yoga mat and it's a non-slip surface. So basically you're going to you're going to increase the lever length again, and here's how to do it. So when you go into your down cat, you slide your arms down so you've got more range, more extension of the spine. So your bottom, and that's the outward curl, back bend of the spine. And when you come back, pull with your fingertips and feel your stomach drawing in to pull you up to this point. So you've got more range, so you poke it in and use the stomach that way, and then it's going, and don't forget, it's an exercise of two halves. This is really, really important thing to bear in mind. This sensor for the contraction up here is only half your exercise. Some of your strength gains are if you hold the contraction, or, and this is really important, when you release the load and return your muscles back to where they started from. So exercise of 2 hours with breathing, form an alignment, sense that the stomach and the trunk is working, otherwise that one can get a little bit necky. Well, so many abdominal muscles exercises can't they? So the next ones, and these are very unnecky actually, you're going to lie on your side. So we've done adding weighted arms as load. Now you're going to use your legs. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, I'm just going to move that out of the way. The first one I'm going to show you is double leg lift. So you can have cushions for your underneath here, or I'm going to use my arm, and I would use your top hand as well. Okay, now it's crucial that you get your alignment. You're propped up on one side of the body, hand to support you, and then lengthen and lift. Don't go like this to try and use momentum to try and get height. Lengthen and lift the two legs, and of course you're working your legs, but you've got to work really hard in your trunk to stabilise you. So that will be a really nice worker of the abs, and in particular the outside ones. You can go top hand free, but if you start to feel tipping back or your back arching or anything like that, maybe give yourself some support. So that's great trunk worker. And the other one is side kick. And this is great actually because you feel it more. So if these are legs in 6 o'clock position, bring them to legs in 5 o'clock. And then press the bottom leg into the floor and levitate the top, and bring that top leg forwards and back. Now I've got a wall behind me, so it's a little bit limiting my range, but you get the idea. When you come forward with the leg parallel, you will feel it triggers all along the front of the body, and you will feel your stomach muscles depending on your range. And then you're going back, you're crossing past the other leg and going to the opposite direction. And you feel the kind of back of the body, particularly your bottom, triggered and in a good way and working. So I would have to say this is one of my all-time favourites because it's very, if you can get on the floor, it's very attemptable, very doable, it's very range, you can vary your range of movement or your number of reps. I kind of love this one. And you're also working into the hips. I mean, what more could you want for an exercise? It's great. So lastly, we're going to finish on as backs. So we're going to do your classic ab curl type exercises, and they're so foundational that I did want to just touch on them. So ab curl, abdominal curl, spine curl. So hands behind your head and relax and soften. Ideally you want your breastbone gentle and relaxed, and you want to be soft and relaxed. You don't want to be holding any tension in the body. And here's what you're going to do. Allow your elbows to gently lift. Nod the chin. The neck will turn, it doesn't really need any encouragement. The thing you need to focus on is turning the rib cage like a wheel rolling forward. The eyes ideally down on your chest, so not on your knees and definitely not the ceiling, okay? And then back the way you came, ribs, neck, head. Head, neck, ribs, ribs, neck, head. So that's your curl. It doesn't suit a lot of people's body types, but if you want a little bit of assist, use your mat. I haven't got a head pad. I probably could do with one, but you've got the key to it is lots of space between your head and where you're holding it, and use the mat like this. I kind of really like this. It really enables you to make the shape without it being quite so tough. So that's abs or assisted ab curls. Here's a really, really useful alternative, oblique ones or diagonal. So let the body relax, nod the chin, neck will go, and then you're going obliquely, armpit to opposite hip crease. Keep your pelvis on the floor. Okay, it's not uncommon to see people bringing their legs forward, but you're starting to get into using the legs. So this is the foundational one. This is one of the exercises upon which other things are built. So this is why I wanted to show you as potentially a better one, because it's so important to get it right. Nod the chin, support the head, armpit to opposite hip crease. And also foundational and the basis for 100, single leg stretch, double leg stretch, all those kind of exercises is where you work with your head and your legs up. Okay, I call this banana curl, just to kind of almost give it a life of its own, if you like. So, you need to be able to work with your legs up. So, let's just look at that. Flatten, well, you can work with the spine just as it is, or you can curve it into the floor. I tend to go for flatten the lower back, and stomach kicks in and works into the floor, and then bring the legs up. Now you need to be able to do that before you go any further, so just test that out. Can you bring both legs up without bulging the stomach into the air? So you need to get that right. It's out of the scope of this article, but if you bring your legs up and your stomach sort of presses into the hands toward the ceiling, that it's too much load, and you would be better working with your head down and working just on the double leg lift on its own, or working with one leg in and out. So assuming you're happy to do the two legs, let's channel our inner banana. Okay, so nod the chin, curl up, so the head, neck will go, turn the rib cage. So notice I'm not pulling my head, I am turning the rib cage, and the head's coming along for the ride, and it's supported. You'll find this will tend to tilt the pelvis, and then you can bring the legs up. And here's the thing, so you need to be able to sustain this to have anything harder. So let's just look at this on its own. Breathe in, breathe out, and curve the spine. So lift the ribs, turn the pelvis, and that will bring the elbows and the knees closer together. Breathe in, drop back. Breathe out, curve, curl, more banana. And then to stop, don't stop all of it at once. Upper body down, legs down, and relax. So there are my favourite, or some of my favourite, and the ones I think are sort of kind on the body but still effective. There's a whole load there, so I hope you find something that's useful. Message me if you've got any questions. Sometimes things, they make sense to me but not to other people, so do message me. And that's it for July. Thank you for listening, and next one's on the end of this is plank and cheerio. Hi there. I do hope you found this clip useful. We've got plenty more on the site, and for now I've suggested another one for you to watch. If you want to know more about what we do in Leeds, then do visit the website at Pilates-leeds.com, and right now you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We can do this all again next month. Cheerio!